Alright, I wanted to do a relatively short video under 15 minutes and showcase a couple of license plates you may or may have not seen. You might have missed them on my channel. The first one here is Indiana license plate 00A0000, and this is a sample plate. I won't go into the whole deal, but there's a scratch there. I was disappointed in this particular scratch here. It's hard to see, but it's very, very obvious and visible, and it detracts from the plate there. So I did not get a refund for that one. I don't know exactly how that... I just said, you know what, just leave it as is. So that's how that happened. But again, I wanted to get a plate that was not a sample plate, so eventually I did get this one here. This one looks like it was never been used, and if it was not at all. Some kind of glue or some kind of blob on the back there, probably from the factory, I'm guessing. And this is the Wander Indiana plate. So the first one was back home in Indiana, and I remember the Wander one because I think I had a patch, you know, an Indiana 500 that said Wander on it, maybe. And then I also do kind of remember this one's from the early 80s, and they have written on here 85 to 87. This is probably somebody's American license plate Collectors Association number or something. I don't know what that is on there, but super minty. There's just a little something that got on here. I'm not sure what that is. It's coming right off. Just a little spot. But yeah, this is, so it looks like it's never been attached to a car, just a little storage wear, 82Y9943. So I thought, well, let's look at some of the Indiana others license plates here, just as a test here, because I've got most of the different Californias. I've got like the orange California, orange and black, and I've got the blue and the yellow, and then I've got what they call a lipstick script one, and then I've got a couple other Californias. And Oregon hasn't had very many different ones for the most part, so, you know, and I don't need all the Washingtons, although I do have a couple, and I'm really going back past the 70s, you know, the more design-rich ones, or the slogan plates and sort of things like that. So I'm starting at the 70s here, so I've got two, and I might want to kick up, you know, I really didn't plan on getting this one, but it was more or less, you know, the nicest one I could get, or the only one I could get at that time. So let's just take a look at the other ones here while my dinner is cooking here. This is a nice one. I saw a bunch, and the reason why I'm thinking about this because I saw a bunch of Indiana license plates at the swap meet, and they were $5. And I probably should have picked a couple of them up, but then I would have to do some cleaning, and I might have to do some if I pick up some on eBay here. Here's the Indiana one. I don't know if there was ever really a slogan to these here, but they got the orange, yellow, and red stripes on here. Nice color one here. This is $4, and then this one had $5 for shipping. So getting a plate under $10 on eBay is very, very hard to do. I do remember a time where plates that were in-state that I could get were usually around $1. Out-of-state plates were usually $5 or more, and at the swap meet they could be anywhere between $5 and $15 or more, even $20. This one could be theoretically $20 at the swap meet there, but there's a good example of that one there. I also did a Google search here for Indiana license plates here, and we've got, I missed out on this one here. This was the Amber Waves of Grain plate here. I don't know, have a good example of that one. I was going to look and see if I could find Amber Waves of Grain. It kind of looks like this one here. This is just kind of a made-up one right there, but it's similar to that one. That's the one I could have and probably should have gotten, but I couldn't remember if there were any tags on it. I like to have tags on my license plate to give some sort of credence or credibility to them, not have everything removed off it. So I don't really remember. And then there's another nice one here that just says Hoosier State on that one there. That's from the early 80s. And I'm not going on about all of the different specialty plates there, but you also get ones that are very basic like this one here. I'll show you another one of those shortly here. That's the red and the blue and the white plate. I don't remember much about that one there, but I want to show you this. We'll start off with this one here. There's the back home again, Indiana. And this is from Porter County, which somebody has tacked on there. And then expires April of '88. So this is a 1980s license plate with the stars in the background there and the torch. And I think that's kind of a nice, you know, you want to make sure that the ones that look really nice will display really nice. So the ones like this one starts off really nice. You don't want one that has a big whammo and it doesn't display well unless you don't really care. Just getting one for your state collection. Then we have this one, which I've seen many times. It says Truck 9. There could be tens of thousands of these out there that have just never been mounted onto cars. And again, $4 is whatever, you know. So this from 74 might be one I'd like to pick up here. I haven't decided whether or not. Again, this one is like $4, which is fine, and then $5 for shipping. So if you wanted to, try to get, you know, a seller that, well, actually this one's $7.50 for shipping. But try to find a seller that you can buy multiples from, where you can maybe get only like an extra dollar, so you pay $6, and then it works out not too bad there. Again, I like to take my time picking out plates there. And this one here is from 1990 here. You can see the 90 sticker there, and then expires in July. And this one displays more or less okay. And again, I have some minor connection to the state. I've actually visited the state, St. Joseph County there. So there's that one there. And then I think we've got another one here. There's another 1981 plate here. Again, this one is beat up, but the colors are so vibrant on it. I just really like that. It just, you know, takes me back to, you know, like 1981. I don't think I have, well, I'm actually not sure when I first visited the state of Indiana. That could have been my first year there. I don't know. And then we just go to Indiana with the whole list and everything, and I did not find any of the Amber Waves of Grain in the $5 or less category, but I was looking to see what sold here. Now this person was lucky because they got, now depending on the seller and the bidder, and I mentioned this before several times, if you're buying directly from a license plate seller, sometimes they will sell for more because these guys have more credence. And if somebody's just selling one randomly with a bunch of their other junk, then it doesn't get a lot of traction, especially because it's just only one plate, not dozens of plates are getting more eyes on it. You know, so less eyes on those ones. And again, if they're just like a relatively new seller, have under 100, people might be willing to not spend very much. You know, so they spent like $8. Now, who's buying that Indiana plate? Maybe a Hoosier that is looking to collect all the different designs, or maybe it's somebody who just wanted that for their personal collection to do all 50 states. You know, license plates are hot sellers. Sometimes they will sit for a long time. There is the Amber Waves of Grain. Got 3 bids and $8.80 for shipping there. So that is like, you know, 5 and 8 is that's about $13 for this plate. See the original listing here. There's one of this particular one, Amber Waves of Grain. A lot of people pick up some dirty and beat up license plates based on how they look, and so sometimes like this one here, there's a few scratches in the middle between the F and the 3, and we'll just zoom in on that where show you that one right there. Those might actually come off, and so a lot of people think they're getting a good deal on a plate that's a little on the dirty side. So that might be one ploy to pick one up, or even to sell it. Leave it on the dirty side if it's almost mint. There's a beautiful one for $3.80, and that sold for around $10. So $10 is about the going rate here. But we want to go to, there's an RV plate here. We'll look at this very quickly here. See the original listing here. I don't see very many of these here. This is one of probably the newer ones. This is just one of those flimsy-dimsy plates that you could practically fold into a pretzel without much of an issue here. I don't like these at all. Just the stamped plates is what I really want to collect. But if this was cheap enough, you know, so this is $9. Do I want to get this one? Maybe. And it's not embossed or stamped, so I like the pressed out ones here. Here's another one. This is, you know, something like that. And here's another one. See the original listing here. And again, you've got multiples of these in different colors here. This one's in green, it looks like. You've got, I can't get to the original listing, but that one's in green. Now we want to go to the ones that are still for sale, and we will be done here. So we want to go to here, and then we want to go to the ones that are still available here, so you can see what you can theoretically get. And then we want to just go to rats. I want to try to get to it here before I have to do something here. Well, if I get rid of the completed listings, then it'll just get me the sold listings here, so that's unfortunate. I need to get out of this one here. Let's get rid of the sold listings. Now, but again, I don't want to sort by lowest price here. Now, I had 630 license plates available, but now that I got, oh, this is ended. Oh, darn, I'm still on completed listings. Okay, it should be around 630 here. Yeah, 602. Okay, well, something happened in my search there. That has happened before, so yeah, so there's one of those. There's the back home in Indiana for a very unusual number there. So I don't know what 32 with the W61 is there. I'm not sure why that's so small numbers there. And then I like this one here, the 78 plate. That has the state of Indiana in the middle of that one, but I would like to get one that's rust-free. You know, I'm trying to go for rust-free. I don't really want to get a lot of top coat or bent ones here because that's not easy. You think you get the dents out, and sometimes you do more damage and it looks like you've been messing with it. So that one's kind of a cool graphic there. Somebody's floating across the picture there. Again, there's different ones. Truck 7000, you know, and so if I'm putting an Indiana collection together, it wouldn't be that expensive to do that. I just have to basically pay the $10 for shipping or the, you know, the $5 for shipping, somewhere between 5 and 10 for shipping. And I want to make sure that I get, you know, because, you know, the funny thing is you can get a really gross plate for $5 or you can get a super mint one here. I don't know if we looked at this one. This was with a state with the feel of the stars around it. Let's see if I can find another one here. Indiana, this is probably the Minuteman one here. So again, I don't know if I necessarily want to get that one. That's like 13 bucks for shipping almost. So that's going to be about 18. And we'll just see, this one's kind of a cool one there. I may go back that far and get that one. I don't know. This is around 76. So kind of a bicentennial type plate there. We got a few more minutes here. Do a couple more here. And I just wanted to kind of bring, you know, just one state to light. So I might, you know, do this for other states here too. There's a back home in Indiana. Again, I might pick up one of those. Illinois, I think, is another one. I might pick up, you know, a basic one from the 80s that you see in a lot of movies there. Let's see if I can find. I was looking for other ones here. The more colorful ones I'm not really seeing in the lesser junk pile. And then I might just pick out one based on the cool numbers on here. This one says a trailer here. So do I really want that? I don't know. I really don't know if I really want that one. Again, once you start getting some of these far out of the wall plates, then, you know, unfortunately I don't want to start getting everything. That's my problem. I wanted to limit, you know, so I was trying to find, you know, the base plate designs from like 1970 odd to like, you know, current and see what kind of designs there are. Again, not the causal plates that have all different kinds of extra fees there. This one is the Hoosier Hospitality one, which we've probably shown earlier here. This one says Mint. I don't know why it says Delaware there. But sometimes people are getting their listings wrong, the AI listings, so I have to be very, very careful there. So those kind of are interesting there. They're mint because they've never been used on a car. Where they come from and how people get them and how they get them away from all of the different. There's Duddy C, whoever Duddy C is. And that's a good clean one from '02. And then we've got, let's see, one from 80. There's the George Rogers Clark one there from 1980. So there's probably about 10 or 15 that, you know, I theoretically could get. And the crazy thing is that, you know, that could be over $100 just for a few license plates. You fan them out and somebody will say, hey, that's a nice $20 section of license plates. And I said, try 100. Then they would keel over and tell me I'm stupid and why would you do that sort of thing and all this and garbage. And I was like, oh, what a mess. You know, so just buy what you like. And again, what's $5 in this economy anyway, really? You know, but then again, it's going to be $10 a plate. But again, the ones that they're swap meet were a little on the beat up side. They were what we call craft condition. So I wanted to do my homework, and instead of buying one for $5, I want to take my time and perhaps pick out a couple nice ones. This is on my list I've been doing for probably a good 5 years or more. So we'll look into that. I'm getting ready for my dinner, and thank you for watching.